How did you find PV?
At the time, I was looking for a place to train, so I had just went on Instagram and I was like, Minnesota soccer training. I think I was like Minnesota soccer training. And at that point, I was like trying to look up anything for anything. I seen like a couple places and I was like, no. And then I seen like Pure Vita and I was like, yeah, like I need to be here. So immediately I was like, yeah, let me get on the website. I booked, I think like a private or something like that. I don't remember if my private was with you or you. Um, but I just remember that's how I found you guys, Instagram, and as soon as I came here, I was like, yeah, I'm never leaving. And I trained here like the entire time after that. I don't know, it's just the Pura Vida effect, I guess. Once you get here, you can't leave.
Did you do a lot of private training before? Have you done technical training?
Yeah, I mean, not technical training, but more like lifting, speed and agility, like performance stuff. Because in Canada, there's nothing like this. Like they try to mimic it, but it's just nothing like it. Like that's why I travel here.
Too cold?
I don't know. We have indoor facilities too, but it's just like there's just nothing that compares to the training that you get here, and I think it has a lot to do with like you guys as coaches and just like what you guys demand and your expectations and just viewing the development of a player and just wanting the best for them. So I've done things, but it's been nothing like this. That's why I'm willing to travel and spend time and money to be here because it's helped my development as a player like so much.
All right. When did you? So you came here one summer. Yeah. Run us through the different times that you came.
I came here like the first summer. I think that was 2 years ago. Is when you guys first just got into this facility. It says this was like your first year too.
See?
First year.
I remember talking to you. I think I gave you a call and I was like, okay, wait a minute. Where are you from? What are you doing?
Right. So yeah, we came.
Were you even? You weren't playing for a team at all then, right?
No, I was just here in off season. Yeah, that's basically it. And then so I came in the summer, I spent the summer and I trained like majority of the summer here. And then I had to go back to school. And then I came back like in off season of my 5th year. And then so that would be like December. I think that was the second time that I came here. And then I stayed like until I had to, I don't even know what I did, but I went back home for Christmas. I just remember that. And then Aurora brought me back here again, and it's kind of like the best of both worlds. I was able to train with Aurora while still being here and training, and yeah, it's been great. I would say like speed of play for sure, and I'm still working on like getting better at my passing, but I think like that has improved immensely, like just like being able to like see the game. I think overall too, like my first touch has gotten so much better, just being able to play in one touch instead of two. Like those things have, the little details that you guys like critique is what I have improved on a lot, and I want to continue to obviously get better, but I think my game is just.
Yeah, I never asked you this before, but I'm curious about like the way you headed the ball, because I remember that you worked with Cesar a lot. You headed technique, and when you commit with the ball in the air, and you were like definitely a killer in that way. So I'm wondering if you were like that before, or is it because there are like some natural skills, like Cesar, the way he jumps is crazy. Maybe you had that skills before, or do you improve that, or you sharpen it, those skills, or how how that happens?
I feel like I've always kind of had like a little like being able to head the ball is really like, I don't know, it's kind of like a feeling. Like you can't really be taught like how to do it in it. Like you can, but like it's like almost instinctual. Like your timing for the ball is just like something that I feel in my body. I'm like, okay, like this is the timing that I jump. But the one summer that I did work here with Sis, he taught me like this method of like my foot work before leaving the air. And it's like 2 steps that just like made it a lot easier to like time the ball. And I think like when he taught me that, it really stuck with me. And so I continued to like practice like how I take off into the air. And I think that helped me a lot even more. But some of it is instinctual, but also like just tweaking the little details. Like Seth watched me and like he'd show me on film, like, do you see these 2 steps? Like when you like take off from the ground, try this. And I implemented that into my game. And I think that helped me a lot as well. Like being able to be more efficient in the air and also like clean up the timing in the air. So those definitely helped me sharpen what I kind of already had. Yeah, I think women's soccer, the growth of women's soccer within the past 5 years has been insane. I think there was a post actually by, I think it was PSG who posted it, but they had put like male faces on women soccer like players, and they were like showing the highlights of women playing, but they had like put the face of men on it, so people couldn't tell the difference whether this was like male or women playing. And I think just like watching that video just shows you how much the game has elevated on the women's side, because like you fully could not tell the difference of whether that was a male or a female playing. And that just shows like the skill, the speed, the like everything around the game on the women's side is really changing, and it's getting better. Like watching like even Chelsea on the women's side play, like that final on the women's side it was insane. It was like literally like I'm watching the male sport. And I think even the hype around it has changed a lot. A lot of people want to watch women's soccer, invest in women's soccer. And even at Aurora, like 7,000 people at our non-professional game is insane, packing out a stadium. It just shows that people want to see us. They love what we're doing. So I think this is just the beginning, and I think the next 5 more years is going to be insane on the women's soccer side. So I'm very grateful to be a part of it. I feel like me, myself included, I would love to end in America. I think I've kind of heard both, honestly, because the European like lifestyle is very different, and I've heard only good things about it. So people who want to stay in Europe and play, I've kind of heard both reviews, but majority have said they want to stay and finish in America. I think being able to, America's very like unique in a way where you can get kind of the best of both worlds. If you want to get the cold, like you can go somewhere a little bit colder, but you're still in America. If you want the tropics, like you can go to Florida and experience Florida. Or if you can experience all different seasons without having to leave the country. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. Also, like opportunity in America is pretty big. I'm not sure. I'll tell you about if I want to live in America versus Europe after I go there. But right now, and I know a lot of people would love to play in America. I think it's becoming more of that now. Because of the growth, I think it's becoming more of that. The growth of like the game is helping people's mentality change. They want to be in Europe and play in Champions League or, Premier League, those types of things versus like, like the NWSL. So I think it kind of just depends. I don't know. Kind of what Danny said, like girls are I don't know, in my opinion, girls are a little bit more committed, goal driven. So I know, yeah,
I like to try more.
Yeah, like we want to improve, I think. So being able to have the ability, and like if someone offered me this opportunity to train when I was 12, 13, I don't think I would I would come here every day if I could. So I think other girls are seeing this environment and watching. I think also like the competitiveness in girls, they'll see another girl training and they're like, oh, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what led me to want to get better and skills. So kind of just seeing those types of things, also like representation on social media, like, oh, girls can train here too. Like, yeah, I'm in. I think that has a big role in it.
How about mixing the guys and the girls?
That too. The opportunity to play with men or like boys in their situation. That opportunity is huge because you don't get it. And like, unfortunately, we do know the speed of play on the men's side is a little bit faster, especially at a younger age. So I always wanted to play against the boys because they were more physical. They were faster. They were a little bit stronger than me at a younger age. So I wanted to get better and be able to show them that I can do exactly what they do. I can pass exactly how you pass and just be competitive just like they are. So I think that opportunity is huge, and you guys provide that here at a young age, so that's good. I mean, it helps when your training environment is this, you know, it's a lot of times at a young age, you don't have the greatest training environment, or you don't have the greatest experience with extra training, depending on like your coach or, you know, the trainer that you have. When you have a positive and like supportive place to train at, and then you see results on top of it, it's like very motivating to want to come back here. And Pura Vida always gives you that feeling. Like you see kids here smiling, dancing, like they love the game. And I think that leaves such like a good taste in your mouth that you don't want to train anywhere else. Like I do not want to train anywhere else. I kind of get sad when I have to go home because I don't want to train anywhere else. Like if I could stay here or like put you guys in my pocket and take you with me to France and just train with you guys every day, I would, because it's just like something that you can never experience anywhere. Like I talk to people about what they do in off season, or like they'll look at the stories that I repost about what I'm doing here and they're like, wow, like where is this? And I'm like, Minnesota, like the most random place ever. Like I don't even know, but I'm so happy that I found this because it makes you want to come back. And I think that's very motivating for younger girls as well, to have such a positive place to train at. Someone told me this, and it's just resonated with me, is however hard you train in the off season, you have to put yourself through hell so that when you get into season, it's easy. So for me, like burnout is not, I've trained every single day. Like I think it's very important for recovery, don't get me wrong. But I don't think what we do here is something that's gonna burn you out. I think if anything, it's gonna elevate your game because you're able to push yourself to I think you guys also do a really good job of managing the load. You'll ask, like, are you okay? How are you feeling? I don't want you to continue if this is too much. You know, you give enough breaks. So things like that are very key into training. And you do that here. So there's no reason like your child should experience burnout or anything like that. If anything, it's going to make you a lot better. Kids should be able to come here and then go to practice after. And I've done it. So a lot of people do it. We come here, you do skills training, you get your skills training in, a good little sweat in, get touches on the ball, and you can go to a game. After here, I feel like I can play, and I want to play. Like I want to keep going. So I don't personally think that burnout would be an issue here.
All right, what makes it fun here? For real.
Oh my
What
God.
do you think about the
Reggaeton.
environment?
Reggaeton.
Reggaeton, the music. Honestly, the people. Like, Pura Vida is Danny. Pura Vida is Cesar. Pura Vida is you. Like, the people make this place what it is. Without you guys, this is just a space with fields. Like, how they come to training and how they come with the mindset of like wanting to get you better is what's fun. The excitement when you do something well, the excitement when you do a skill, or like even just the personal satisfaction of completing something like a drill that Danny's done. It's like, wow, like we just did that. Like, I think being able to be in this environment is something you have to experience. That's really it. It's something that you have to experience, but it's something that you can't get anywhere else. Like you guys just make it the best. There was like a couple of things that I would say kind of played a part in that. I think our coaches did a good job of making our training environment like pretty competitive, because we knew that in those 8-0 games or like those blowout games that we were having to like, they never let us settle. You know what I'm saying? So I think they did a good job of like making sure we're still pushing, even though it's 5-0, like never taking your foot off the gas and still holding ourselves to a high standard. But when we got to playoffs, I think if you watch that game, like we dominated, honestly. I think the hardest thing was maybe because we just didn't resort to what we usually play. You know, we would play through the midfield, we would play on the ground, but I think experiencing their pressure and things like that made us have to go big, or like it became a very direct game. And so when you stop playing the way that you always are confident in playing and that you've been playing all year, I don't really think it had a lot to do with the talent of the other team, because I do think that we were the better team. Most possession we had most possession. I think the only thing that they had differently was that they capitalized on their one opportunity or two opportunities, and we just couldn't capitalize. Overall, though, like if we're talking about like, did us having those blowout games affect playoffs, and was this team better than any other team that we played in season? I don't think so. When we saw Chicago City the third time for the first playoff game, they gave us a completely different look. It was the pressure. It was fast. It was just almost as good as that second game. So I don't know if that really had played a huge role in it, but I think they just capitalized and we just couldn't, and then we stopped playing what we know. Aurora's already kind of did a huge job of bringing media and like the professionalism to the USLW. So you can kind of even see at other people's games, they're trying to do what we do here. They're trying to have music at the games. They're trying to film the games and have a good stream. They're trying to almost like compete, at least in that type of aspect. Being able to have 7,000 people is hard. Like, I think that had something to do with like the fans and the amount the community invests into it. So I think they're actually trying to mimic exactly what we're doing, or try their best to use the resources that they have to do the same. So I do think already that they've had a huge impact on that, and I've seen it. Like, teams try and do the same things, provide good enough meals after the games, things like that, make it just as professional. And I think we're only going to continue to do that. I do think that Aurora offers a lot of opportunity for girls to be able to be in this environment. And even when you're here, the roster is pretty big. So it's competitive. So I think they do a good job also of providing the experience and the opportunity for you to go in and show yourself, improve yourself. But so on that side, I do think they do a great job at that. And I think we're only going to help build the USLW as well. And hopefully Aurora itself becomes a different team or go to a professional team as well. But I think they've made a big impact in the USLW. Yeah, there's a lot, honestly. That's how I found out about Aurora, honestly, because of Abby and Ken's. I was here at the time training, and they had kind of encouraged me to come out to a tryout, and they're like, just come. Like, it was so fun. Also, Danny kind of brought up Aurora as well when I was training here. So I think that was huge. And being able to kind of like see two girls who train here and also have played a season at Aurora, hear their experience, see like their development as players here, and then correlate that to like what they're doing on the field at Aurora is huge. I mean, Abby and Ken's are both starters. We're both starters this year, so they both train here. So was that a correlation? I would personally think so. I think that was big. There's also girls like Mariah and Ari who also train here, and you can tell. I mean, I think it's they've met in the middle, and it's been nice. It was also nice getting to know people before going to Aurora. Oh yeah, Morgan too. Morgan was also a starter this year. Her development was insane. So I think you can kind of tell. You can see the girls who train at Pura Vida. Yeah. I mean, Lou, she could do it. She was so small and like a little bit skinnier, not as strong, but she's still developing as a kid. So she's going to be one to definitely watch.
Do you see the kids change a lot? Like, so you've been here, was it really last summer? Was your first summer?
2 summers ago.
2 summers ago. Because first summer you trained with Paige,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the kids well enough to know if they're changing?
Katie too.
Like, do you see them changing kind of year by year?
Yeah, I mean, I think too, Paige was just telling me about her spring this year, and her development has like she's excelled a lot in her past season, and she was just talking about the amount of playing time difference that she's had before. When she first started, she was telling me, I'm not really playing a lot. She wanted to play a lot. She put the work in here at Pura Vida, and now she's starting to have a successful college season, and I think she's going to be projected to have a pretty good season as well. I think, to be honest with you, if you're willing, like I said, if you're willing to be here and you're willing to work hard, I don't think like the correlation you'll see. Like, you could see the development of players over the years. Like, Cess has seen it in me over the years. I think it's very evident once you come here. I think all the skills that we learn here, I learn in college. I do the same things that I do here in college as well. And I think if someone had 5, 6, 7 years here, their development is going to be insane. I think coaches like Cess, Danny, like, they don't stop at just like, oh, you're good. Like, they'll be like, listen, this is how you're going to get better. Look at these little details. Like, even today after training, like, Cess coached me up on like how I was passing or things like that. It's about tweaking the little details, and they're never satisfied. I think they allow you to like be happy and be proud of like how far you've come, but they know that like, you can be better. So they continue to push you. So if someone's in this environment for 5, 6, 7 years, there's no reason why they're not one of the best players like ever, or like one of the best players coming up wherever they're coming up out of. So I think they do a great job here of doing that.